Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about something that could make some people angry, and I'm sorry if my opinion in this video offend you. It is just the truth, the way I see it. Okay, so this is the story behind what I want to talk about. I grew up in a very small town, Ire, Osun State, and when I was in this town, we have uncles and elder brothers who live in Lagos. If you are not a Nigerian, Lagos is Nigeria. So let's put it that way. Now, all these people who live in Lagos when I was in my small town usually come home every December. That is once every year, December and next December. Some people don't even come home every year. Some people come home every 2 years. In fact, I know somebody who only went home like maybe once every 5 years. Okay, so we believe that hey, if you are living in Lagos, you are busy and you don't have the time to really come to the village. However, when I started living in Lagos, I discovered that my parents are far away in Osun State. That is like 2 states away, and I can't possibly stay in this wonderful city for an entire year. And my octogenarian father is there, and my mother at 75 is there. So I made it kind of like a custom to go home maybe 3 times, sometimes 4 times in a year, just to go see my parents. Now I discovered that when I started doing that, a lot of people find it so strange. Oh, you live in Lagos, why do you come home so often? Even my parents are surprised. Why do you come home? I came home to see you. Why? Where? I come home to see you. Now, this is where I'm going with this story. Traditionally, African culture respects and make family to be the foundation of people's life. For example, I was reading this book the other day. This biography of A.B.U. And on page six of this book, if you're able to get it, you can read it. This man was talking about how, when he was growing up, the entire family will be living in the same compound. The grandparents, their children, their grandchildren in the same compound. And the idea is that these grandparents are already old, 75, 85. If you don't live around them, who want to help them? And even if you have money enough to provide somebody who helps them, who want to keep their company. So traditionally, Africans usually live around their parents, similar to the story my own parent told me too. But you see, one problem about black people is that we are so good at taking in the white culture that we have no idea how to separate good culture from bad culture. So, for example, it is white culture that when you grow up, you get the fuck off from your parents. It is a white man who believes that, I was not consulted before my parents gave it to me, so I don't own them anything. Black people traditionally, historically, have the opposite culture, and our culture is to think about our parents. In fact, we tend to believe that our parents took care of us when we were kids, and we owe them the duty and responsibility to take care of them when they grow old. Unfortunately, that culture is going away so bad that if you go to our small towns and villages today, you are going to see people, old people, 85, 90, who are living alone. That is not the worst part of it. These people do not get any assistance, financial assistance from their children. And I will tell you 3 reasons why that is the case. Reason number 1, I'm sorry to say this, but I think it is the truth. Reason number 1, black people or Africans find it extremely easy to neglect their old parents because their pastors do not talk about it. I was making this joke with a friend the other day, and I believe it is the truth. If you observe black people very well, the only thing they do is the thing their pastor talk about. So, for example, will your pastor tell you that it is good to do the work of God, it is good to give money to God, it is good to contribute to the project in the church, and your pastor repeats that every Sunday? Because your pastor repeats that every Sunday, you believe that that is the truth, or that is the only truth. Now, what most black people don't know is that there are another 1,000 things your pastor deliberately omitted or decided not to talk about. And one of those things is that, I'm sorry, your parents, your old parents are more important than the work of God. Oh, I know this will anger some people. I have apologized to you before I started this video. But I will repeat that. Your old parents who live in the village are more important to God than the building project that your pastor tells you is the work of God. And of course, since Africans only get people to talk about Bible to them, let me talk about Bible. You see, ministry as you know it today, ministry is not as important as family. And I'll prove that to you. So here's the thing. If you go to Genesis chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, that is a story that covers probably thousands of years. But you guess what? There was no ministry. God did not create ministry. God created family. Okay? God created Adam and Eve. A family. It was necessity, not God. It was necessity that created ministry. So now, if you are a pastor watching this video, do not think I am against your pot of soup. I'm just trying to tell the truth. And I'm not saying this truth in order to discourage people from giving pastors money. I give money to the church, though consciously. I give money to church, okay? But this is the point I'm making here. Because African pastors hardly ever, I have never had a pastor in Africa. Never. I need you to see my eyes so that you see the truth of my eyes. I have never had from an African pastor, and I have listened to a lot of them since I was a kid. I have never had an African pastor tell people to take care of their parents. And I hate to exaggerate. So I'm thinking, maybe I'm exaggerating now. So I cannot remember a single time one African pastor started on the pulpit and I was shaking, bless you, the way they would talk about other things. I have never seen that. So because African pastors don't talk about taking care of your old parents, people believe that if they have 10,000 naira, the best thing they can do with that 10,000 naira that they don't need is to give it to God. Now I'm telling you, if you have 10,000 naira that you do not need, and your pastor says there is a work of God going on there, there is a building project going on there, and you know you have this 10,000 naira that you do not need, please send 7,000 naira to your mother in the village, okay? Then maybe you should go and give 3,000 naira to your pastor. The reason why 70% goes to your mother is because your mother is the primary God. Your father, your mother. Don't let anybody deceive and baboo you that there is a blessing that is in the hand of a pastor that he can give you, but your parents are there. I hope somebody gets this. Now, the second reason why Africans no longer care about their parents or family value is because most Africans really don't read books. For example, if you read books, you read history, you are going to understand that our forefathers take family as if it is the center of their life. Their parents, family is foundation to African culture. And we should not be deceived to think white culture, which does not have any regard for their parents or their family, is superior to ours. There are so many cultures from the white that are superior to ours. This is not one of them. This is inferior to ours, so we should not take it in. Now, the third reason why so many people can easily neglect their parents is Africans believe that when their parents die, they will honor them with burial. And I'm not even joking. If you're not African, you would think I'm making this up. Like, I'm telling you, like, the truth. Africans believe that when your parents die, it is time for you to honor that your parents. So let me give you a practical example. When I was living in my town, there was this house adjacent to my father's house. My uncle lived in that house, very old, 80 something. His wife too lived in that house, 2 wives, old too. You guess what? That house did not have a toilet. That house did not have a toilet. And these people have children. I mean, like so many children who have built their own houses, who send their children to private schools, and their parents are living in a house that did not have toilets. So what happened is my uncle and his wife, wherever they wake up in the morning and they want to defecate, they get out of the house. Now they go to the back of the house. There is a bush at the back. They go to the bush to go and defecate in the bush. Now, fast forward, several years later, one of the wives of my uncle died. You guess what happened next? Oh Lord Jesus of heaven. Come and see my uncle's children. They came from everywhere. They came from everywhere. They kicked cow. They bought a uniform. They painted their house. Now, like, if you are not African, what I'm telling you now, you will not believe it is the truth. Now, after these people celebrated their mother with a befitting burial, 1 year later, they came back again. They take uniform again. If you go around in Africa, African towns and African villages, you can see millions of stories like this. So, we believe, traditionally, Africans believe that when their parents die, giving their parents befitting burial is honor to their parents. So it seems to me as if black people are so good at taking bad culture. So what we kind of do is that a very stupid culture from our ancestors, we take it. That is, where your father died, killing 7 cows, that is befitting to your father. Your father will pray for you from heaven or hell. You know where your father goes. Now, we take that and we are religious about that. Then, we look at the white people and all their stupid culture too, we select which of their culture is stupid. Okay, neglecting your family, not caring about your parents. Okay, that is stupid enough. We take those two. So we are now a kind of combination of two extremely stupid culture. So now this is what I told my father. My father is 86. The last time I traveled home was that last month? So my father was in my car, and my friend, I went with one of my friends. My friend was at the back of the car, and I was telling my father, I said, do you know if you die today, do you know I won't be among people that will kill your cow? Don't go and tell your father that. He will think you're a bastard. But my father already knew for a long time that I was probably a bastard. So now, this is the point I'm making in this video. Foundational to African culture is family. And we can't see anything superior in the white culture to neglect that. So, especially when your parents are old, they become your gods. And don't let anybody, see, I hate the fact that pastors are the highest intellectuals in Africa. Because pastors are the highest intellectuals in African community, these people tell us anything they want to tell us to manipulate us for their personal benefit. And I'm not saying this to generalize it. I'm not, for example, saying tomorrow is Sunday, for example. I'm making this video on Saturday. Tomorrow is Sunday. I'll be in the church. Okay? So I'm not trying to generalize this for all the African pastors, but majority, like 99.9% of African pastors. So, like, because your pastor tells you that the greatest thing you can do with your life is to give God money, that does not make it the truth. That your pastor tell you that this building project is going on, and the best thing you can do with your money now is to contribute to this building project. That does not make it the truth. You have mother in the village. You have father in the village. That is number one thing. Now, if anybody asks you, who tell you this, that your father, your mother is the priority of your life, tell them that Bishop Pope Steve Courage. Okay, now let's get rid of all this. I hope my message is communicated. Okay, like if you like my videos, you will probably like my books. I have written like, is it 4 or 5 books? And I have an educational platform I call African Business University. You can check in the description box. So go and take care of your old parents. Okay, nobody will pray for you after they die. That it is. I don't believe that is true. Okay, let them pray for you when they are alive.